Aloha, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Prince John Internet TV. Today I'll be sharing with you a review of some of my thoughts on what God is, what the devil is, and what soulmates and other ideas. Okay, so starting off, I believe God is the unity singular consciousness behind all self-aware life and the life force, the unified field of bright white light behind all physicality. And I think it is what I believe every person returns to when they leave this body. So we are all that light, I believe. And in order to experience myself, I entered into polarity in space and time. So life couldn't possibly be perfect, but I do have a purpose. My purpose is to prepare myself, learn about what I in this body like, and find somebody who is like me, who I can, be a good match with. Okay, number two, I believe that the devil is the ego or animal mind that just wants to fulfill its lusts with anyone and is not community minded. I think the devil can also be dark things like interdimensional beings or maybe restless human spirits that have not successfully transitioned from the physical plane from their body, perhaps a result of a violent death. I think light work, when you shine maybe into a haunted house, it can help them to transition. And I think there are other non-human entities that are interested in using human psychic energy. Remember to use your psychic energy to go towards your goals. And it's difficult to know what the goals of the mind are because the mind is limited, but doing the light work, I believe, allows for an unlimited bounty of balance and harmony and peace. And and keep the vibrations high, speak certain words, program your body. And next, how about some current light work techniques? Okay, so firstly, when you're doing light work on another person, or beaming like through their like this, their third eye, or if you're doing it to yourself, it's called Class A interpersonal light work. And they do something like this at Tsukio Mahikari. You might want to check that out for a reference. But what you do is you see a brilliant beam of light streaking into your space, and then you reach in and grab for it. And next, look at it in your hand, that brilliant light, and bring it into your heart. And imagine that you are looking at yourself from a third person, and your aura is glowing. And raise your fingers and beam the light onto your feet, watching them glow as if a bright flashlight's hitting them. And do this for your whole body. Next, do a Class B perimeter scan, beaming the light at the walls and people around you. Visualize them smiling and grabbing the light. And just, shine all over everything. Just light up the whole space, all objects. See everything glowing like in the Matrix movies. And now do a Class C personal target projection and visualize somebody you know that you think about and want to do light work on, be it a friend or a foe. See them smiling, and then imagine another light worker, somebody comes into this space, and just picture that person beaming on them, your friend or foe, and then watch them grab that light for themselves and follow the procedure of Class A light work that you just did on yourself. Imagine them doing it. Okay, some strategies to unite with your soulmate. Make a list of things you like. It will only work if you like yourself first and discover who you are. and that way you can compare to somebody else if they're a good match for you. Now, while patiently waiting to unite, imagine that he or she is already there at your house, waiting for you, and look at yourself through their eyes. Take good care of your body. Do it for her or for him. When you are having a tough time, do it for her and no one else. I believe this is the most sustainable form of inspiration. I think the only reason that if I am God, would allow, me to enter into the physical plane would be to actually have this experience of being separated from something and then getting to, reach that and make that like your life goal, to sustain a relationship with her. Admittedly, it requires a little faith, but once soulmate couples start showing up, in this world, you start to see them around. Maybe they're your family members, and they just display these potent expressions of love, and maybe film pornography where you can really see this amazing energy between them. I think it'll be easier to say, okay, that's what I want, and I don't want a short-term relationship. Alright, 5. Strategies to deal with anger and fear. Of course, doing light work helps, breathing. Another thing I like to do is I say that all people are me, and that I am God. And if I don't know the answer, then I silence my mind with some exercise, like 15 push-ups or something. And then I do some light work on any people involved in the anger, and wait for signs from the unified field to determine what to do. In other words, like, look for signs, since everything is connected. Look for, ask, should I go this way? Should I talk to this person? Alright, next, a few secrets for joy. Take responsibility for your body, such as if you're angry, don't say somebody is rude or try to say, oh, that person's mean, but look at yourself and say, I am angry and I'm going to deal with it, and leave the situation, and then maybe try to engage in communication, perhaps via email or text message, or through a third party, if possible, with the person you're upset at. And that way you avoid verbal anger, which can lead to physical violence. And let's say you see people arguing, then interfere with it. Take control of it. Blow a whistle or do something if you think it's appropriate. Okay, 7. Some of my favorite genres of music I wanted to mention to you. Like on Pandora Radio, I like to listen to epic music. I like Gucci Mane radio. I like Hawaiian music, jazz, classical, trance music, country rock. I was thinking, if you want, email me and I'll give you my library of all my music and all my spiritual and philosophical TED Talks from YouTube, and even personal videos of mine that I've downloaded onto audio file. We'll figure out a way to get it on your computer if you really want it. Okay, 8. Some ideas for exercise. Alright, check this out. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm still here. I'm pretty sure that we're still running here. So, okay, 8 ideas for exercise. Alright. Main exercise, make it a nice long run, maybe 4 times a week. 30 minutes out and 30 minutes back. And just run it whatever pace you feel right with. And then do some stretching. Also do sets of push-ups or pull-ups, and maybe some weight repetitions during the day. and save sprinting and more challenging exercises for like game for things when you're playing a game, or maybe you're working like in construction. That way you don't feel nervous about having to do, exercises. The goal, the intention is not to become stronger, but it's to relieve stress. If you're nervous or tired about exercising, then avoid it. Okay, 9. Some ideas for dieting. Try smoothies. Grind up things that aren't that pleasant to eat, like kale and carrots, and add hemp protein, maybe peanut butter, maybe some brown sugar. Smoothies are great. I like warm oatmeal in the morning. I like to eat pasta at night. Chop freshly cut cabbage, and maybe use kale leaves to wrap in rice. Just some ideas for you there. 10. So let's talk about concepts surrounding human sexuality, such as self-pleasuring or bedroom time. It's a hobby that I try and pursue because I want to have a lot of sex, and therefore I'm setting the energetic precedent, and I'm increasing my stamina. And this allows us to have control over our lust, and not start a short-term relationship because we don't know how to please ourselves. I think that oral sex will be important in a long-term relationship, so be sure to take care of your mate and make sure they don't feel pressure to have intercourse. 11. Thoughts on existentialism. If feeling attracted to a man or woman, ask yourself if you would be still interested in them if they were older or crippled. I believe that the mutual liking that two soulmates will have is because they like each other distinctly, and because they've developed unique personalities, but they like them for that. And it takes time to develop that and find out what you really want. But I believe there was a person that would be a great match for you, as long as you do light work and don't depend only on compatibility theories and just your own thoughts about whether this person will be good for you. And I think you can't be sure who your soulmate is until you notice different serendipitous events, and not trying to seduce her, but talking to her indirectly, such as talking to her father, or that way there's no room to seduce each other by talking in person. Okay, 12. The future of the family. Once the foundation of the family is established with a soulmate couple who love and belong to each other more than anyone else, then it's possible to raise children on the premise that they are like clients, almost like similar to a doctor's clients, and don't really belong to the parents. That way they can let them go and have their own life when it's time. And I don't think anyone owns another person except soulmates own each other. Also, enjoy making your own works of art, and think about them, applaud them, have your own experience. Don't wait for, others to provide their psychic energy to you to confirm it, but just keep going with yourself and have fun with it. And don't be a slave to their thoughts or words. Say to yourself, I am my own prince or princess, and I control my life. And I tell myself what to do. It's impossible to impress people who are not family, spiritual family. It's a lie. Simply be casual and neutral, with others, and be careful who you associate with. And finally, I think the energy behind every person is me. Everyone I see, that's me. Even the bad people. Something to think about. Now, last but not least, if the person that you like happens to pass away, as long as you haven't already, touched each other and been married, then I wouldn't worry about it. Just focus on somebody else. But if you have already united, then I would personally I would commit suicide humanely, because, my life, all that matters to me, my inspiration is her. Think about that. Have a good night.